Are you aware that Fakpo Ida, a Yoruba activist and human rights and advocate, was on Arise News? He said, Tinubu, if you fail to split Nigeria now, that the Fulanis will come immediately and exterminate all those Yorubas that you have appointed. Because they believe that Nigeria is their forefathers' estate. Is it not written and documented that Uthman Dafodio said that Nigeria was given to him by Allah? These same words were the means, and what they used, the ideology, was what they used to defeat Ilorin when they conquered Afonja. So bringing this back into the 21st century, it is unbelievable, and I cannot even imagine it, that in Ekiti State, they said that some people who are Muslim, because they had marital dispute, now took it into a Sharia panel for adjudication. What happened to our customary laws? This is not naught. By all means, I bound and cast Sharia in Southwest, because it is not progressive, it is only retrogressive. And it is retrogressive because we can see the antecedents the Northerners have been able to achieve with Sharia law, wherein the rich are exempted, but the poor will always have their hand cut short.
Okay, Mr. Adi, let us just suppose this with the current emerging threat of bandits being dislodged from the northwest, hibernating in southwestern forest. Is it a coincidence that at the same time there's attempt to bring Sharia law, Sharia code into the southwest? We are seeing infiltration or invasion of what looks like Fulani invaders in the southwest. Is it a coincidence or is a coordinated effort?
I think this is an incident that is being intentionally supported by the Yoruba politicians who are trading their people and land for political gains. The reason why some people will say that the Yorubas and the Fulanis have good relationship is simply because some Yoruba politicians and elders are taking and adopting all the ideologies of the Fulanis, which is accepting Islam, accepting some marauders, some cattle herders, which ordinarily should be sent back to others Sahel region. They will give them a land. Let me tell you, in my hometown, in Shaki, there's a place, a town before Shaki. In that place, the people who live there, who reside there, are 95% Fulanis. In fact, the buyer of that place is a Fulani man. Though he speaks Yoruba, but he's a Fulani man. What does that tell you? Why should you allow a foreigner be the baale of not his land, becomes a chief, all in a bid that you are tolerative, all in a bid for what? So that when you want to campaign and go into election, you can always say that the Fulani, can't you see that we allow you people to excel? This is why the Igbos have always been said that the Igbos are not political savvy. No, the Igbos are simply conserving the sanctity of their land. This is why they are so against this ideology of Islam extremism. So my take is, these Fulanis now have had so much inroads and they've enjoyed this leeway, whereby they're even issuing words that your forest is an irreversible inheritance of the Fulanis. A Fulani that came from Senegambia, a Fulani that came from Chad, from Niger, from Mali, telling we that Oyo forest that belongs to the Oyo warriors, Yorubas, that forest is an irreversible inheritance. From where to where? How is that possible? If not because the saboteurs that we call the political leaders, for their own political exigencies, have sold out their people for this nonsense.
Okay, Ms. Sani, let us take it to this angle. Because currently there is a trending video that's gone viral from someone, a lady from the north, who have chronicled how the Fulani have taken over all political space, all leadership space, whether traditional wise, political wise, from almost every part of the north. Specifically, the lady mentioned Katsina, that since her birth, all the governors she have known is Fulani. And surprisingly, the place is predominantly Yoruba. Sorry, it's predominantly Hausa. And the similar thing is happening in Kano. Are we seeing a similar threat in the southwest?
Well, what you must understand is the Fulanis have only one ideology, and it is conquest. Descend on them, depose their leaders, install the Fulani ideology, marry their wives, enslave their children. These were the same ideology they used when they got to the north. They came into the Sokoto zone axis. They toppled the king there. And since that is their entry point, they decided to make that base their most principal base. And this is why you see that the Sultan of Sokoto, the person that controls the Islamic tenets and direction, is the Sultan of Sokoto. Whether you are a Igbo Muslim, whether you are a Yoruba Muslim, you will pay homage to that Fulani man there in the caliphate. So they started that. Then secondly, they went into Kano State, took their time. They were into farming, understanding the policies and security infrastructure of Kano State. When they studied that they were weak, they called their brothers in, they called that place Bao. That place is situated in Burkina Faso. That is like the horizon, like the place inception of Fulani. Now, that was where Itman Dafodo used to be. Now, they went into Sultan of Sokoto. They had a what? An annex. And then from there, they extended into Kano. Having seen that they are weak, they invaded Kano State, and then they dealt with the leaders. Because in those days, Kano was the commercial city of the Northerners. Kano was the most advanced state in the north in those days. Kano was where you have the likes of Dangote, you have the Tata families. These were traders, merchants who were billionaires even as are dead. You know, so when he saw this, they drove away the family of Dan Tata. He ran. I think he went into no, I think he went to Mali or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken. It was when the British colonial master came back that they now had to call that man. You know, it was that man that had Granite Pyramid when he came back. Go and check. When Uthman Dafodio came, when he invaded Kano State, that Tata family, who are relations to Dangote. Dangotes are not Fulanis originally. But when Uthman Dafodio conquered them, his grandfather ran away. He ran away for over 30 years. Then when the colonial masters came, when they were looking for those, then they heard the story of Tata that he was a very a serving person. They had to beg him to come back, that they would give him protection. When he came back, he bought farms. He became one of the biggest aggregator in the north. Then he was financing farmers, giving them loans to go and to go and farm granules. And he was buying it from them. Then he became the biggest aggregator, the biggest collector of granules. That was how they amassed their wealth. But when Danfodo came, they saw that these were the people that serve as threat. They killed some part of them. Some left. So you can see how these Fulani people are. When they see that you are influential, that is why they are after. Yes, that is why they are after Oyo State, because they know that Oyo is the capital, the political capital of the Yoruba land. They took Ilorin. You can see it didn't have much impact on the Yoruba. But if they eventually take Oyo State, I can categorically tell you that Lagos State will fall. Yes.
Okay, now, Mr. Ni, I understand you know very much about Oyo State because you are from there, and you have seen that it is like epicenter of southwestern part of the country, and the way it stands is like a target of the Fulani. If you were to be the governor of that state, or if you are not, and you were to advise Seyi Makinde, who is the governor, in this regard, what would be your advice?
Okay, my advice has to be first and foremost, all the Fulanis who have invaded and maybe think they have taken the forest, all have to be flushed out. We have to start from there. But before I flush them out, I will send out a communique. All the Oyo State forest belongs to the Southwesterners. If you need a land, come to the Ministry of Agric, Oyo State, and lease. If you are not, we'll call you as an usurper, and then you'll be dealt with in the language that you understand. Then I'll have a collaboration with the Nigerian Army, and then also I will empower the Amotekums. Because these guys are known not only to be bandits, they are also known to be land grabbers. This is what they have successfully done in Middle Belt. This is what they successfully did. This is what they successfully did in Jos. This is how they were able to steal all the baggy land in southern Kaduna. Those same Fulanis, before the Fulani came on board, there was nothing like southern Kaduna and northern Kaduna. The southern Kaduna were known as the TV and the baggy people who were predominantly traditionalists and Christians. So if I ever have a chance to become the governor or an advisor to the state government, I will go after them. But before I do, I'll give them that last warning.
Okay, Mr. Ali, lastly on this, we understand that there's Amateku in place and they came about through act of House of Assemblies in southwestern part of the country. But under Muhammadu Buhari, they could not be armed because for you to buy AK-47, AK-49, you need an end user certificate that normally comes from the Office of the National Security Advisor. And then, during the time of Muhammadu Buhari, that certificate could not be given to Amateku. Now, if you are to advise the government, we understand that Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu is the president currently. Do you advise him to act differently to give Amateku the capacity to be armed?
Well, this is a question that doesn't require any logical reasoning. The vigilantes in Zamfara and Sokoto today are wielding AK-49, AK-47. I mean, we see everything openly on the national medias. We see it on TVs. So there is no reason why Amatekun should not be wielding AK-47. But again, I understand that in southern west, the southwestern governors have, most of them are puppets. Most of them are puppets. Okay? Tinubu, as he is, we know he is trying to put the Fulanis, call them into size, reduce their excesses. But the Yoruba governors must be seen supporting him. They must also be seen demanding what is right. Because Amotekun without an AK-47 can never be potent against these bandits. They only become potent and effective when they wield an AK-47, the same weapon those bandits wield. And the question is, where are the bandits getting it? The same Fulanis are the one giving them. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ali. I think this is a good place to let it go. I'm Mr. Matthew and this Salami.
Thank you very much.
But currently, for an Hausa man to settle anywhere in Igbo land, he either leases it or he pay the rent.
Okay.
Permanently for that place.
Okay.
You don't occupy anywhere in Anambra State now. You don't occupy anywhere as you just come in your large number. You know, say they move with their large number, they stayed and tell you, say they come, they have come, you must pay money. You pay for that particular land or you go back. And even if you pay, you must have a definite lawful business you run or manage.
Mr. Raf,
they don't allow them anywhere in Igbo land. If you stay on anybody's Igbo land in Igbo land, you pay. Likewise me, I'm staying on people's land here in the southwest, I'm paying. So if Fulani stay anywhere in the southeastern Nigeria, they will pay. Must, not will, they must pay.
That is well understood. Let us now take our attention.
And they must be doing their normal business, lawful business. If they engage themselves on, unlawful transaction, Igbo man will ask them why.
Understand that Ghanaian dance is the Orani Kakanfo of Yoruba land.
Yes, they are
and
the
currently,
general.
I think he's the leader of
OPC.
OPC.
Yes.
Do you think he still have the competency, the wherewithal, the capacity to engage and dislodge bandits in the bushes? It's just like an Igbo issued another the other time.
I don't see Aronika Comfort as a man that is fit into that cap. The only person I know that if they have fear of that person, they
Tremble.
actually, begin to acquire wisdom is
Sunday
Igbo. Are Onika Comfort for mouth over the years since I know Lagos. 1999, he was there. He was just there for sake of money. Aronika Comfort, the Ghanaian Adam is a political Are Onika Comfort. It's not the Are of Yoruba land we used to know. Because if you see Are in Yoruba land, you will actually know it's Are. He has never been engaged in any war. No confrontation so far with the Hausas. It is only Igbo that actually prove it that he's an army general in Yoruba land. A war leader, a warmonger, a general in the Yoruba, contests of, fighting war. It is Igbo that we know. Aronika Comfort is just billionaire, political Aronika Comfort. That is Ghanaian Adam. And he hasn't what it takes. That gallantry is not there. That bravery eluded him. And I don't see the aura in him to defend Yoruba land. What I'm saying is a fetish-looking man. you know, just in appearance.
But remember that Jonathan
But
government the
Igbo
other
has
time
proven it.
hired him
Who?
to guide some of pipelines in the southwestern part of the country. Belonging to
Did
federal
he do
government.
that job?
But it's a record that he was hired.
OPC was everywhere.
OPC under his leadership.
Yes, OPC was everywhere under the leadership of Jonathan now.
But Mr. Araf, permit me to shift our attention to the reaction coming from Nigerians with respect to the unfortunate prescription of IPOB by Court of Appeal. I have a couple of people who have reacted. There is one who was really, of course, a former aspirant to the office of Honorary General President from Imo State in 2021, said it's quite unfortunate and unfair. And we have seen Dr. Ngozi saying this cannot stand. Nnamdi himself has spoken for the prison of DSS through his lawyer. They say, I give you go ahead, go to Supreme Court, challenge it, it cannot stand. Let me get your immediate reaction.
Yeah, IPOB prescription second time has actually explained how hard the Fulanis are working.
Okay, you attribute it to the Fulani.
I'm telling you, the chief judge, you don't know his name, he's a Fulani man. The former prescription was just to help Buhari make sure that he bring the IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra down, that is Igbo man down, and Biafra as an entity down as well. But in the court of law, they failed because actually the people that are called that abbreviation, IPOB, is you and I. I'm an Igbo man.
Indigenous people of Biafra.
Indigenous people of Biafra. That is an English. It means if you allow it excel in the court of law, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is now an IPOB member, which is a terrorist. Akunyili is IPOB, is a born and brought up, you know, in Igbo land. It means Akunyili is a terrorist. If you allow it to excel in the court of law, it means Peter Greg Obi is a terrorist. Because the meaning is indigenous. Indigenous is from indigene, meaning the land, the people. The people is you and I, persons. That is, with persons that are living in that particular region, southeast people of Biafra. Who are the Biafrans? We are the Biafrans. It means everybody in that contraption, in that region. Let me name them all. I have their name. Obi Kubana is not a terrorist. Emeka Okonkwo is not a terrorist. I, Rafael Mbechi, I'm not a terrorist. The former, I'm telling you, the former Governor General of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe, is a terrorist. That's why I'm telling you that the blind Fulani chief judge that actually ruled that judgment in favor of Nigeria, prescribing Fulani, is not ruling it in favor of Nigeria. He ruled it in favor of Fulani agenda. Because Fulani has come to stay, occupy everywhere in Nigeria, as they predicted. Nigeria is their forefathers' ancestral estates. That is Ottoman Danfodio estate. That is Abubakar Tafawa Balewa estate. It actually means that Yoruba have no land, Igbos have no land, Hausas have no land. It's only Fulani that is going to occupy Nigeria.
But Mr. Raf,
it is very, very laughable.
I understand somebody like
debunkable. I debunk it, I renounce it, I reject it. It can never be Igbo man. The terrorists we have in Nigeria are Fulani headers. Who are the owner of Fulani headers? Meiti Allah. Their grand patron is Muhammad Buhari. Who are the terrorists? Bandits. Who brought banditry into Nigerian contraption? It was Buhari. He used it as mercenaries. They are the mercenaries that actually prepared to fight Jonathan during 2015 presidential election. And they actually failed to proscribe bandits as terrorists. Igbo man is now terrorist. So that is madness. Insanity of the highest order.
Mr. Rafumuchi,
nonsense.
I understand that someone like Bala Mohammed, the current governor of Bauchi State, said it the other time, that the Fulani man is a global citizen and you don't need permission of anyone to bear arm as such, that he used the arm to protect his cow and all that. But again, we are seeing Nnamdi Kanu charging his legal team to approach Supreme Court to argue this case further. Do you think there will be light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, Fulani man is a global citizen, free to wield AK-47.
That came from Bala Mohammed.
Yes, it is not plausible. I know you know the meaning of plausible.